Ramayana Kalpavrksam.
I always get a lot of inspiration from Ananda Akka. I came just yesterday night and I was a little under weather, coughing away. And I see her, her voice is gone. And still so much oomph and so much grace she exudes, and that is giving me energy already. Thank you, Akka. Thank you, Ramayana Kalpavrksam team, for having me again. As I always say, I go back a little more enriched after the programs that happen here. That is the caliber of the program that Ananda Akka manages to pull together. Unfortunately, I'm missing the performances this time in the evening. But if you have not yet planned to be there, I think you definitely should attend the program all 3 days. So Ramayana, Dharma and Dharma Sankata. When Ravan has now decided to take away Sita from the forest, after hearing her beauty by Shurpanakha, he goes to Marich. And he tells Marich, this Ram, no, he is a very bad person. He is a very adharmic person. His father also sent him away. That kind of a person, yeah? He speaks lies, he's not at all good person. That kind of person Ram is, and hence, help me take away his wife. And Marich says, what are you even talking about? Because Marich has known Ram since Ram was only 16 years old. And we'll come to that story. But there is something very beautiful Marich explains to Ravan. He says, Ramo vigrahavan dharmaha sadhu satya parakrama. He's saying, what are you saying? He's adharmi. Ram is vigrahavan dharma. Ram is the murtimanta pratik of dharma. That is Ram. Ram is a personification of dharma. What is this dharma that he stands for? Recently, I think in one of the rallies of Modi ji, we saw this old uncle. Modi ji was passing and he said the shloka from Ramayana. He said, Yam palayasi tvam dharma dhritaya niyamena cha. That dharma that you follow with rigor, with sankalpa, with a lot of resolve, that dharma you follow, that dharma tvam abhirakshatu, may that dharma take care of you. It is not very different from what Manusmriti tells us or Mahabharata tells us. Dharmo eva hatohanti, dharmo rakshati rakshitaha. That is what Kaushalya Ma is blessing Sri Ram. She says, now that you're going to the forest, this dharma that you have always followed and lived by, may that dharma take care of you. What is this dharma in Ramayana? Usually in Mahabharata sessions, I would explain this whole definition of dharma given by Krishna and then Bhishma. Today I won't do that. But this duty is a very interesting topic. Because we have many duties, we have many kartavyas. We have a kartavya towards our family, we have a kartavya towards our samaj, we have a kartavya towards our wife, our children, our parents. All these are different kartavyas. And many times, these kartavyas come in conflict. Then what do we do? In Mahabharata, we see lots of such dharma sankatas, conflicts. But those conflicts, of course, are very serious in nature, but in some way very easy for us to understand. Why? Because one side we know is bad, so to say, yeah? The other side is good, and hence it's like, okay, do you take care of your family? Or do you do your swadharma and fight the war? What Arjun went through. In Ramayana, it gets a little tricky because the dharma sankats are not necessarily happening with an enemy. Dharma sankats are happening within the family. Yesterday, the topic which Yashodeep ji had was on the relevance of Ramayana today, right? Why is it eternal? And that's why Valmiki ji says, Yavat sthasyanti girayaha saritascha mahitale. As long as the mountains stand and as long as the rivers flow, tavat Ramayana katha lokeshu pracharishyati. Till then, this Ramayana katha will flow in the loka. People will keep learning from it. People will keep getting inspired by it. Why? Because Ramayana is the life of anybody of us. Those are the struggles which, of course, a leader is going through, but he's not just a leader. He's a husband, he's a son, he's a Raja, of course, as I said, he's a brother. All of this he's going through. And within that, how is he making those decisions? Is what we learn from Ramayana, from Valmiki Ramayana, if you read it with an open mind. Yeah. So let's start. Yeah, one simple one. But that incident actually paves way for all decisions that Sri Ram has taken later in life. Before me, Amrit spoke about Raj Dharma of the Ikshvakus. So Raj Dharma, as we saw, has been core to Ikshvakus anyways. But for Sri Ram, the lesson of Raj Dharma comes very early in life, and that comes from Vishwamitra ji. All of us know that story that when Sri Ram is about 16, not even 16, we are told, Vishwamitra ji comes and tells Dashrath that I want your son, please send him with me because he needs to take care of my yagna. I have taken a yagna sankalpa, and these Marich and Subahu, that is the first time we hear of Marich. This Marich and Subahu are not allowing me to complete my yagna. So I want your son to come and protect this. Of course, Dashrath doesn't want to send. Then Vashisht ji convinces him. Vashisht ji convinces Dashrath that it is not as if Vishwamitra can't take care of his yagna. Tava putra hitarthaya, for the sake of your son, he's asking to take him along with him, so send him. Dashrath sends both Ram and Lakshman. So they are going all the way to Siddhashram, where the ashram of Vishwamitra ji is. And on the way, there is this very bhayanak one that comes. And Sri Ram, being the curious person he is, he wants to know, why is this such a nirjan one? Why is this such a dangerous one? Why is there nobody in there? And Vishwamitra ji tells him the story of Tadaka. Now this Tadaka is the mother of Marich and Subahu. Okay. And then he explains to him that this place, the one that you see here, was once upon a time a thriving civilization. There were two big Samriddha cities which were situated here. And this Tadaka has ruined everything. So now you should kill her. But Tadaka is a lady. According to our Shastras, you don't kill women. Stree and Guy and Brahman were considered aghanya. You don't kill them. So how to kill Tadaka? Even if she was bad, she was still a woman. Paap lagega if you kill a woman, right? Then how to do it? At that time, Vishwamitra ji gives the most important lesson of Raj Dharma to Sri Ram. And he says, Nacha stri vadhe krite ghrina karya narottama. You should not hesitate in killing this tree. Why? Chaturvarna hitarthaya kartavya rajasunana. For the sake of your praja, all communities. He's not saying one community versus other. No, he's saying Chaturvarna hitarthaya. For entire society, for the benefit of your society, as a son of a Raja, you must do what you must do. Then he says, Nrishasam anrishasam va, praja rakshana karanat, patakam sadosham va, kartavya rakshatam sada. Be it good or bad, cruel, uncruel, doesn't matter. Be it something that gets sin, pap purna, punya purna, doesn't matter. If your praja rakshana is involved, you must do what you must do. Praja rakshana sarvopari. For a Raja, what is the most important? Your praja, the welfare and the protection of your praja. And hence he says, Adharmyam jahi kakustha, dharmo hi asyam na vidyate. Hey kakustha. Amrit just told us the lineage, a lot of them, right? One of the kings is Kakustha. So because these are the Vanshaj of Kakustha, they are also called Kakustha. That is where Sri Ram also gets the name Kakustha. So Vishwamitra ji tells him that she's an adharmi. Adharmyam jahi, win over this adharmi. Papam hi asyam na vidyate. There is no good in her. So win over her. And this is your Raj Dharma. Rajabhara niyuktanam eshah dharma sanatanaha. This is Raj Dharma. What is Raj Dharma? Praja Sarvopari. For a Raja, for a prince, for anybody from the Raj Parivar, Praja comes first. Never forget that. Eventually, Sri Ram kills Tadka. But this is the nuanced lesson of Raj Dharma dealing with the first major Sankata of Sri Ram. What is that? Should you kill a lady even if the Shastras prohibit it? Or should you just follow the Shastras for the heck of it and not kill her? And what is Vishwamitra ji saying? That Shastras, all the injunctions that we have, they have a purpose. And the purpose is what? Welfare of the society, welfare of the people around you. If that is not happening, following anything written for the heck of it doesn't help. So do what you must do, and the end goal is Praja Rakshan. For a Raja, the foremost dharma is Praja Rakshan. Fine, still easy, yeah, very easy to understand. None of us will feel like, Arey, Nana, why Tadka ko kyun mara? None of us are going to feel that, right? Easy. Then something else happens. He gets married, goes to Ayodhya. Dashrath decides it's time to have somebody else take over the throne. He calls his entire assembly, not just the assembly, all the who's who of Ayodhya and the other Rajas who are paying tax, because we saw, Amrut told us that this is a Chakravartin state. Yeah? So there are other Samanta Rajas who are paying taxes to them. They are all called. They're all called, and Dashrath ji says, I now want to have Ram take over the throne because I'm old enough, somebody else should continue the lineage. Do you agree? And everybody says, yes, 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 we agree, Ram should be the Raja. Dashrath is like, Arey, why do you think so? Nobody has any opposition only. How is that? I'm not going to accept it this way. What I gave you was a proposal. Now you tell me, Katham, why do you think Ram would be the right person to rule? Because if you believe he is not the right person to rule, we'll find somebody else. And then this is where the Ayodhya Kand, the early chapters of Ayodhya Kand, where then a discussion happens. And the different people from in the assembly, they're coming out and saying why they want Ram to be the Raja. And they go on to list his various qualities. Lots of them. I'll just say two because we'll come back to this. One of the qualities we are told is Purusha Saragnya. He understands humans very well. That psychology of humans, no, he understands. He has a good read of people. And the other thing, we are told, Swadosha Paradoshavit. He also understands the flaws of his own character as well as those of people around. Okay, so why I'm telling you this, we'll come back to it. Anyways, so long list given, and everybody wants Sri Ram to be the Raja. In one voice, they have said, we want Sri Ram as the Raja, and they have great reasons to make him the Raja. Okay, decision taken. Sri Ram is going to be crowned the king. Of course, first it was after a few days, then Dashrath is not comfortable, and he's like, let's do it as soon as possible. Kali kar dete hain, there is Pushya Nakshatra tomorrow, so let's do it tomorrow itself. That is what is decided. And Sri Ram is told, do your vrata, all of that. Morning, we will crown you the Raja of Kosal Desh, of which capital is Ayodhya. Then in the morning, Sri Ram is told, come over in the chamber of Kaikeyi, your father has called you. This man has no clue what is waiting for him. Okay. He goes there thinking that there must be some instructions, because just in a few hours, the whole Ayodhya is ready for the coronation. Just in a few hours, he was going to become the king. And he goes there, and he is dumbstruck, because this is not what he had expected. His father is on the bed, bloodshot eyes, not able to say a word. Kaikeyi is standing there in her bhav. The father is not uttering anything. The ministers are standing there. Everybody is looking shocked. And he comes in and he looks at all this and he's wondering what is happening. And he's like, why is my father not saying anything? Kaikeyi says, he will not be able to tell you, but let me tell you. And then she explains how he had given me the promise, this, that. And I have told him, Ramasya aranyagamanam, Bharatasya abhishechanam. Ram has to go to the forest and Bharat has to become the king. And he has accepted it. So now, Shighram Gacha, you have to quickly go to the forest. And there, Sri Ram just hears it. Lakshman is standing behind. Lakshman is fuming. Sri Ram very calmly hears it and he says, Evamastu. I will do it. What I feel bad is, why did my father not trust me enough to tell me this by himself? But now that's okay. You've told me, I will go. And he leaves and he goes out. He just says, I need to tell my wife and my mother about it, and then I will leave as soon as possible. And he walks out. And Lakshman walks behind him, fuming. So first he goes to Kaushalya Ma, tells her all of that. After a certain point, Lakshman can't take it anymore. He's like, what are you doing? What you're doing is not befitting of a Kshatriya. Our father has lost it. Under the influence of a woman, he's asking a son like you who has not done any papa. There is no dosha, right? What is your fault? Why are you being punished? For what? The whole Praja wants you to be the Raja. He is telling, ki, go away. For what? Why do you have to go through this punishment? Just because he is under the influence of a queen? What we should actually do? Badhyatam va, vadhyatam va. We should either capture our father, put him in the jail, or kill him. That would be the right thing to do for a Kshatriya. Sri Ram says, I don't agree with you. And usually, what are we told? Sri Ram says, no, I will go to the forest. And why does he go to the forest? What is the general understanding that we have? Pitaji ne bola, hai na? Fathers, he had to keep the father's word. Because why? For Ikshwakus, Raghukul Reeta Sada Chali Ai, Prana Jai, par Vachana na Jai. Now remember one thing, the Vachana was also to the Praja. Okay, the Vachana was also to the Praja, not just Kaikeya. But we'll come back to that later. Sri Ram actually explains to Lakshman why he believes he needs to go. And one of the reasons is definitely this, that the father's word you have to take. You have to be obedient to the father. And he gives many examples of other sons who achieved greatness just by being obedient to the father. One, not the only reason. Because clearly Lakshman is not convinced. Another thing he says is, he says, Lakshman, if I stay back, Dashrath will not say anything. Our father will not say anything. He'll probably even be happy. But you know what? I know him. This thing that he has not kept the word to his wife will keep eating him from inside. I don't want to be responsible for his death. Second. Third, he says, the way the things have shaped up, I'm not able to make sense of it. And in a situation like this, how has it happened? Asankalpitam, akasmatam. Nobody had thought of it. It suddenly came. Out of nowhere, suddenly, akasmic, accidentally, this situation has all changed. I was just going to be the Raja, no? And now suddenly, even before that thing started, वो कहते हैं ना हिंदी में मुंह में आके निवाला छिन गया. Literally, that was the situation. Things have completely changed. This daivam, this bhagya is very achintya. You can't sometimes understand it. And the way things have shaped up, I think, kritanta eva drashtavyo mat pravasane. In my going away, I see a hand of destiny. He says, I have never till date differentiated between my mother and Kaikeya. Okay, now it's very interesting that the dynamics of Kaikeya and Kaushalya, which we see in Valmiki Ramayana, are very interesting. It is literally like two Sautans fighting, yeah? And Kaikeya is the one who's like always wanting to hog the limelight. And Dashrath ji has not been fair to Kaushalya at all. To the extent that when Kaikeya is sitting that Krodhagar, right, he gets very worried. And when he gets worried, he's actually telling her, Arey, you please tell me what happened to you. What do you want? You just name it and I'll do it. Is somebody who shouldn't be killed. Avadhya vadhyatam va. Should I kill somebody who shouldn't be killed? Or vadhya vimochatam va. Should I leave somebody who should actually be killed? You just tell me. If you wish, I will let go of Kaushalya and Sumitra also. You just tell me. Yeah? This is the level to which Dashrath ji is groveling before Kaikeyi Ma. And Manthara, when she had reminded Kaikeyi Ma of her promise, the promises which Dashrath had given, she says, your king, your husband, is fully into you. For your sake, he will enter the fire also. Vishedapi hutashanam. For your sake, he will enter the fire also. Use that. That is how she has the gumption to make this request after the decision has been taken by entire Ayodhya, not just Dashrath. Okay? In spite of all this, Sri Ram is saying, the way things have shaped up, I see a hand of destiny here. And he says, whatever be the other dynamics, he doesn't say it, but that's what we understand. Whatever be the other dynamics, I have never differentiated between my mother and Kaikeyi Ma. What is even more astonishing is that Kaikeyi Ma has never differentiated between me and Bharat. She loves me like she loves Bharat. But what has happened? Her buddhi has become dushit, right? Her buddhi has this inspiration to cause harm to me. You see, all these things are not really making sense of. And it has happened when I was just going to be the king, going to become the king. Hence, I think at this point, the right thing to do is to let the bhagya take over. Because only then I will see what bhagya has in store for me. Sometimes you can't fight destiny, and you shouldn't fight destiny. Because you will only know its play when you flow along with it. And hence I think going is the right thing to do. The beauty of Valmiki Ramayana, and I insist most of the time that yes, all Ramayans have a lot of bhav. There is rasa, there is emotion, there is bhakti. However, if you want to really understand Sri Ram, the way he functions, and why Valmiki Ramayana has inspired so many other kathas and stays relevant, you must read Valmiki Ramayana, because the way Valmiki ji has unfolded the way the mind of Sri Ram works, the way he takes decisions. And mind you, Sri Ram does not have that tatastha vairagya of Krishna. With Krishna, whatever happens, we still think of him as Ananda. He didn't have to think twice before walking away from Mathura, right? He doesn't even come back, ever. He's not falling and crying and sobbing when his entire family kills itself. That vairagya bhav is not for Sri Ram. Sri Ram is completely involved. He loves deeply. He feels deeply. And in spite of all those emotions which he feels and experiences, he's still able to do what must be done in that situation. Dharma Sankat, or decision making, usually fulfilling a kartavya. I usually say that when you take any decision, it is kind of a sankat, because when you're making a choice, you're saying no to something else. Always, right? Some are easy, some are difficult. But how do you fulfill your kartavya, which you must, while also managing and navigating all the other kartavyas that you have? That learning you get from Sri Ram. So he explains this and he says, hence I think I should go. Of course, Lakshman is still not convinced. He says only cowards talk about bhagya. What daivat are you talking about? But anyways, Sri Ram has taken his decision. So he says, okay, fine. Now that you are going, I'll come with you. Okay, and then Lakshman also goes. Now this Sri Ram, here he's done what he thinks is the right thing to do, not just to obey his father. That is definitely one of the things, right? But see how he's thinking. It's a 360-degree thought process that is going on in his head. So when he then goes to meet Kaushalya and then to Sita ji, till he's entered his chambers, he's very calm, very stoic. But as soon as he enters his chambers, Sita ji, who doesn't know anything, thinks that, oh, Ram has come, because she's still in that mode of doing preparations for the coronation. But as soon as he enters, she is awak. She's like, what happened? Because there's no color on his face. All those expressions which hadn't come out till then are now coming out. And he tells Sita, look, this has happened. I need to go. You please take care of my parents. And please be conducive to Bharat. Don't say anything against him. Don't criticize him because he is going to be the Raja and all that now. And Sita ji is like, Arey, what are you even saying? Don't teach me my job. I know what to do. My parents have trained me well. What do you mean you will go away? There is nothing like that. Everybody follows whatever they need to follow. My dharma is to follow you, so I'm coming. Sri Ram says, Arey Baba, where do you think I'm going? It's a jungle. It's going to be very dangerous. All sorts of bhayanak pranis are going to be there. There will be no luxuries. You will have to sleep on the floor. We don't even know what food we will get. And think about all these animals and this and that and pranis. Our life is going to be at threat all the time. Sita ji is like, Arey, I didn't know, or rather does my father know that he's married me to a lady in form of a Purusha? Striyam Purusha Vigraham. Now she is not taunting him. Sometimes when foreign authors read this, they're like, oh, she gave him gali or she taunted him. No, no, no. She's trying to tell him, I know you are capable of taking care of me, right? Why are you speaking like this? And she's making a case to say that I will come with you, come what may. Whatever be the parasthiti, I'm coming. Because for Sita ji, not once she has said that, Arey Bapre, how can your father do this? How can Kaikeyi Ma do this to you? Like Lakshman is saying, no, he's wrong. Why do you believe? She's not saying anything. She's like, Arey, you are going, I'll come. People had told me, some astrologers had told me that I will also go and live in the forest. So this is the right thing. I'm coming with you and all that. Sri Ram is still trying to convince her that it is not really a picnic that he's going through. No, it's going to be a very dangerous place. No luxuries. She's grown up in the luxury of palaces, yeah? No conveniences, nothing. Eventually, she's like, if you don't take me, I will kill myself. And she starts crying. And then Valmiki ji tells that Bahubhyam Parishvajya. Sri Ram holds her tight, gives her a tight hug. And he says, Devi tava bat dukkhena swargam api na abhiroche. Hey Devi, giving you pain, I don't even want the swarga. And nahi me asti bhayam kinchit. I have no bhay. Don't think that I'm not taking you because I'm scared of anybody. I am not scared of anybody. I am very well capable. How? Swayambhoriva sarvataha. I am like Brahmaji. I have no fear of anybody. However, he says, now see, many a times, I feel bad when people say that, oh, Sri Ram is ideal son, ideal king, ideal this, ideal that, but not ideal husband, they'll say, yeah? And girls will be like, theek hai, everything fine, but husband, no, no, no. But this is Sri Ram who's saying, Arey, giving you pain, I don't even desire the heavens. And he says, Tava abhipraya avignaya vasam na rochaya aranye. He says, I am not scared of anybody. I can very well take care of you. But you know what, Sita? I needed to know your opinion. I couldn't have imposed this vanvas on you because the vanvas was not for you. It is not going to be easy. But now that you desire, this is the man who's saying your opinion matters to me, right? He's not saying, I'm the husband, come with me. No, no. He's saying, your opinion matters to me. Now that I know your opinion, Sahadharmachari bhava, Bhima is Sahadharmachari, nothing in the world can stop me from taking you. Now here also, see, there is a sort of a Dharma Sankat. When we read it, we don't read it that way. But the point is, one, he has to tell his wife whether to take her or to not take her, right? Should he go and say, oh, you come with me? Or should he say, no, 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 you just stay here? What should he do? And how does he actually navigate this? Think through. It requires a man of very clear thinking and a lot of respect for everybody around him. To say, Baba, yes, I might have a view, but I need to listen to your view as well. And then if you desire, I am there for you. And then they go, right? So this happens, and to be honest, every incident in Ramayana, we can sit and analyze. But I'm not going through all of this because what I want to give you is a little bit of peek into the thought process of Sri Ram. And probably that will allow you to see why he's doing things which he eventually does. Yeah. So one of the things which always comes up for Ramayana, I'll probably go there straight because people say ki agni pariksha to kar liya. Ek to agni pariksha, so we'll talk about that as well. That why agni pariksha? Yeah, why did he do that agni pariksha? Was it required at all? He knew Sita ji was right. He knew Sita ji was without a fault and all of that. So that question is always raised. This question about Uttar Kanda is always there. Ki arey, why did he let a pregnant Sita go away? Now the easy answer to that is hai hi nahi, right? Easy answer is, there is no Uttarkand in Valmiki Ramayana. And even if there is Uttarkand in Valmiki Ramayana, letting go of Sita ji is prakshipta. Okay? Now, I will not impose anything on you. You are free to believe whatever you believe, because there are very clearly two schools here. One side which believes this is prakshipta and they have very good reasons for it. There is other side, and the more traditional side, which says, no, no, this has happened. Okay? I believe, हुआ कि नहीं हुआ वो जाने दो, ठीक है? But if such a situation would have come, which I will explain to you, Sri Ram would have done exactly what he did. That's what my read is, okay? And I'll explain that. But before that, I want to talk a little bit about two other characters, Sita ji and Vibhishan. But Vibhishan, time permitting, we'll talk about. But Sita ji, I want to. This Agni Pariksha thing, usually we are told ki arey, not fair on women because he doubted her chastity and all of that. One view, yes, could be that. But even before the Agni Pariksha happens, something else happens which we should know. Hanumanji goes in search of Sita Ma, finds her in Ashok Vatika, and what is the logical thing to do? He finds her, shouldn't he have just gotten her back? He was capable of doing that, right? And in fact, he suggests that. He says, you come with me. So first Sita ji says, arey, but you are so small. And then he increases his size and says, no, no, you don't worry, I'll take you and all that. Then she's like, no, okay, I trust you. You are yourself capable of destroying this entire Ravan clan. I trust you with that. But you know what? If I come with you, and she gives 3-4 other reasons that what if I fall off, what if I get caught, falana thikana. But she says, if I come with you, this credit of freeing me comes to you, right? Not my husband. What will they say about my husband? There will be a kalank on him, no? That he couldn't even take care of his wife. Now she doesn't explain it that way. But she says, for Sri Ram, for the sake of his own reputation, it is only fair that he comes here, defeats Ravan, and takes me away, takes me along with him. Not this way. I don't want to come with you. Because it is befitting on Ram to come and himself free me and take me from here. Now remember, at that time, she has no clue how Ram was going to come. She has no clue what kind of sena he's going to have. Kuch nahi malum. But she is confident he'll come. And he has to come, and that is the right thing to do. Now I want to ask all of you, isn't that a sort of pariksha also of Sri Ram's samarthya? But is she thinking, I am going to test him? What is she saying? She is saying, I don't want itihas to say, have put names on my husband. My husband's reputation matters to me. And hence, even if it requires more work on his part and more pain on my part, she lived through that hellhole for 2 more months, yaar. It was easier to go. But was convenience the right way? What would have happened if she would have done that? We wouldn't have been talking about relevance of Ram. No yavat sthasyanti girayaha saritahasya would have happened, right? And the Ravan would still be alive, the one who was anyways creating havoc on planet Earth, right? So she says, no, I am going to be here. Tell him to come. And please tell him to come soon, because if he doesn't come in a month or so, I will give up my life. Yeah. So anyway, so this is what Sita ji has said. And remember the bhav with which she has said it. Yuddha happens. Sri Ram wins. Okay, he wins. And that description of Sri Ram, that pain that he's going through, which comes in Kishkinda Kand, over the separation of Sita Ma, oh my God. It is something worth reading. The man has become like a madman. He's running around. He's asking trees. He's like, hey, pariksha, hey, vriksha, have you seen my wife? Have you seen my wife? Please tell me where she is. She's running to the lion and is saying, hey, Shardula, have you seen my wife? Don't be afraid of me. I will not do anything to you. You please tell me. He's running around like a madman. Of course, he's not getting answers anywhere. And eventually, when he doesn't know what to do, he's like, Vinashyami Sacharacharam. If I don't find my wife, I will destroy these 3 worlds. And Lakshman is the one who holds him back and says, Arey, relax. People go through problems. If somebody like you is not able to tolerate the grief, what will Samanya people do? What will ordinary people do, right? This is not right of you. So, Lakshman is the one who's his pillar in that time. So, he's gone through so much pain. In fact, when Hanumanji and Sitaji meet in Ashok Vatika, and Sitaji asks Hanumanji, how is Sri Ram doing? And he says, he's not even able to sleep. He's always thinking about you. Even if he sleeps, he wakes up calling you out. Hey Sita, hey Sita. That is how he wakes up. He still keeps thinking about you. When he sees a stream, he thinks about you. When he sees a flower, he thinks about you. This is the love that Ram and Sita have. And this person who made that completely undoable, what was thought was not going to happen, he dominated this indomitable Lanka, defeated Ravana and all his Sainiks. And now the time was to meet Sita Ma. He just goes cold. Yeah? And this description which Valmiki ji gives is beautiful. He says he goes cold, but his eyes have welled up. Yeah? Because at that time, Vibhishan and Hanumanji have said, now what do you want to do? And he says, ask Sita what she wants to do. Sita says, I want to meet my husband. And he says, okay, get her. And he's gone into his dhyana mudra. Yeah? Very quiet he's become. And Sita ji comes. And he says, remember something. I have not done all of this for you. I did all of this for the reputation of my family. Now I have done my job. Okay, I have freed you. Now go wherever you want. Can you even believe this? That is why understanding context is very important. People pick out those lines and they'll be like, Amiji, yes or no? I'm like, yes. Then they'll be like, how do you say that? Sri Ram can't say that. I'm like, no, he said it. But understand how he said it, why he said it, when he says it. Yeah. So even when you're reading it, right, suddenly you're struck, what just happened? And this doesn't just happen to all of us as readers. This has happened to Hanumanji, Lakshmanji and all the Vanaras there, because they have seen his halat, man, in the Vanvas. So they're all shocked. What just happened? Why is he speaking like that? Sita Ma is shocked because she has come with so much expectation. She's feeling shy and coy. She's seeing her husband after so long. And she doesn't take it sitting down. She says, Arey, if this is what you wanted to do, why didn't you tell Hanuman? I would have killed myself already. Why put me through this ordeal? Why are you talking to me like an uncivilized person talks to an uncivilized woman, or uncivilized man talks to an uncivilized woman? You should have told me. I have grown up with you, and still you doubt me like this? And then she says, I'll prove myself. And she tells Lakshman to light the fire and all that. And she does Agni Sakshi, that we know, right? She says, hey, Agni Dev, if I have been true only to Ram, if I have not thought about anybody else, vagere, vagere, please protect me. And that happens, and as we know, we are told Agni Dev comes out and says, Asyam papam navidyate. There is no papa in her. I think Shuruat ka ek quote, I messed up with this one. Anyways, so there is no pap in her. Asyam papam navidyate. There is not even an iota of pap in her. And when he says that, you know what Sri Ram says? Aham api avagachami. I also know. Ananyam hridayam Sita mat chitta parivartinim. Aham api avagachami. This Sita, Ananyam Hridayam, her Mata Chitta Parivartinim, her heart is only and only in me, and mine is in her. I know. There was no aukat of Ravan to even do anything to her. Why? Because Sita is inseparable from me, like the Surya Prabha is from Surya. I know. Pratyartham tu lokanam. For the sake of the people, I didn't stop her from entering the fire. Pratyartham tu lokanam. Why? Because people will talk. There was no drone at that time, right? To see what is she doing there. People will say all kinds of things. She may have gone over on her own. If people could have also said, Arey, when she had a chance to come back with Hanuman, why didn't she come back? Maybe she wanted to stay there. Now she didn't have a choice. People can say all sorts of things, right? Log to bolte hain. But log to bolte hain. What is the duty, the kartavya, the dharma of a pati and of the Raja? Because now when they go back, he's not just the pati, he's the Raja. And she is not just the patni, she is the Rani. Right? So what is the kartavya of the pati? Who is going to be the Raja towards the patni who is going to be the Rani? Exactly what Sita Ma says. Right? That I don't want history to judge him. I don't want any dhabba on his name. This is exactly what Sri Ram is actually saying. Pratyartham tu lokanam, for the sake of the people. Because I know they will say, I don't want them to put a finger on my wife. And hence, I didn't stop her from doing what she should do. So we see both Sita ji, how did she take a decision in that situation? The easier thing would be, chalo, chalo, let me get out of here as soon as I can, right? We saw what did Sri Ram do as a pati and as the Raja. But after all this also what happens? We get into Uttarkand, Rajabhishek happens. Now this Uttarkand story, if you go by the Uttarkand that we have in the critical edition and the Gita press, it is not as simple as saying Dhobi ne bola aur bhej diya. That is not what happens. Yeah, I have 10 minutes, right? I'll need, I think 10 minutes should be fine. People have to eat. I know I'm in between your food, but anyways. So what happens is this. Sri Ram is sitting in his darbar, and in that darbar, he has these natanatis who've come. So you will see in Arthashastra as well that these performers, these kalakars, were also used as spies by the Rajas to get information, because they would mingle with the local people, right? So it was easy to get a sense of what's going on. They would know what's happening, what people are saying and all of that. So they've come, and Sri Ram is asking them, is my praja happy? Are they happy with me, my brothers, my wife, falana thikana? Everything is going fine? What is their view and this and that? And there is this natta called Bhadra. He says, yeah, Sri Ram, all is fine. They are still in wonder of what you did in Lanka, the way you defeated Ravan and all that. They're very happy, this, that, and suddenly he goes quiet. Sri Ram is like, don't worry, you tell me. You don't have to fear anything. Tum batao, you tell me what happened. And Bhadra says that, Sri Ram, there's only one thing. There is a loka apada. Like, there is this thing amongst people, and everybody has been talking about it, that how is that Sri Ram is even able to touch his wife, who lived so long with Ravan, who was in Ravan's Krida Ghar. How is it that he is still able to touch her? And because of that, what is happening? Our spouses are telling us they are doing whatever they want to. And they're saying, if the Raja doesn't have a problem, who are you to stop us? Now you see what is happening? There is the morality of the society which is being questioned. Yeah, why? Because of what they believe is the wrongful conduct of the Raja. Now, let's not get into, how are they questioning a woman, this, that, all that. When you are a leader, when you are in public, people will say all sorts of things, and your character has to be beyond question. And this is not just for us, it is everywhere. Monica Lewinsky, Bill Clinton, we know, right? So this public morality is of paramount, because these people are the ones setting example for the rest of the society. Also at that time, the Raja's Shabda was Nyaya, right? You had to ensure that the people trust your word. So what happens? Sri Ram listens, he's beyond shocked, and he doesn't stop there. He asks the other people sitting there. And they all are looking down. They're like, yes, Sri Ram, this is what is going on. So he sends them away. He's in tears, and he calls his brother. He calls Lakshman. And he says, Lakshman, I knew this was going to happen. But you were there. You know that there is no pap in Sita. She did the Agni Sakshi, she did the Agni Pariksha, you were there. But now, again they are questioning. This is what I was fearing. So I will have to do what I have to do. I have to protect my kirti and I have to let my wife go. Okay? So this happens and he doesn't have it in him to tell it to Sita ji himself. Because he knows na, she's right. There's no pap in her. But he still has to do what he has to do. So he doesn't have it in him to face her at all. He tells Lakshman. Lakshman tells her, you wanted to go out, I'm taking you out. And he leaves her there and then he tells her that this is what has happened. And the Raja has decided to leave you. Now, of course, this is a shock for all of us, right? It leaves a very bad taste. This is very much against the rules of Natya Shastra. Natya Shastra, you need to have a happy ending, by and large. But that is not what is happening here. It's like anticlimax. Suddenly, this woman is told, you've been left, okay? And look at this woman. She says, Arey, if the Raja is being questioned because of me, it is my duty to help him, right? So it is my duty also. I mean, she doesn't exactly say it, but what she means is that as a Rani, it is her kartavya to ensure that the Raja lives his Raj Dharma, no? Remember, she is not just a wife. She is also the Rani. So what Sri Ram has to live, the Raj Dharma that Sri Ram has to live, she also has to live. And she understands that. The character of Sita ji is just so beautiful in this part. She's like, I understand it. If only he had told me. But I understand it. I understand where he's coming from. But she's very unhappy. She is obviously shocked. And she just stays there. And Lakshman goes away. And then there is a whole backstory to it. Why this is happening and all of that. But I'm not going there. Because I want to stay true to this loka. Yeah? Because neither Sri Ram is doing what he's doing, knowing the backstory. Neither Sita ji is doing what she's doing, knowing the backstory. They are both very naturally living their lives. So then now this has happened. And obviously this leaves a very bad taste in all our mouths. That why has he done that, yeah? What was her fault? Was there no other option? This is one case, one situation where Valmiki ji has not exactly told us what Sri Ram is thinking. But for 6 kandas now, we have seen how Sri Ram is thinking, right? Oh, I have to tell you this. I forgot this, and that is a link, which I think I must mention here. When Sri Ram has agreed to take the Vanvas, and he has left for the Vanvas, so first they go to Shringverpur and all that. Then everybody is around with them. Sumant is with him, and all of that is there. Then the proper Vanvas starts once they cross Ganga, and it's only 3 of them now in the dense forest. Okay, so near Vatsadesh and all, it's the dense forest, and it's the first night alone in the dense forest. So Sita ji probably was tired, she had fallen off to sleep, and Sri Ram and Lakshman are talking. I told you 2 qualities of Sri Ram before. Purusha Saragnya and Swadosha Paradoshavit. He understood Manushas very well. He understood human psychology with its potential as well as its flaws. Okay. Would he not see that for his own parents? If he's seen it for others? Right? So here he tells Lakshman, he's very sad and he fears for his father. And he says, the word he uses for his father is kamatma, the one overcome with lust. He says, when a person artha dharma parityajya, giving up artha, we talk about 4 purusharthas, right? Dharma, artha, kama, moksha. So here he's talking about the trivarga, dharma, artha, kama. He says, artha dharma parityajya, having given up artha and dharma. Kamam anuvartate, one who follows only kama, lust, desire. Evam apadyate, what is happening to my father, the same situation happens to a person who does this, who is overcome with lust and gives up on artha and dharma. He says, what kind of avidvana? Ko api avidvana api puman. Ko avidvana api puman. What kind of avidvan man, he's saying, gives up pramadaya krute, for the sake of a woman, gives up chandanuvartino putraha, an obedient son like me, like my father has. Who does that? Only a person who's a kamatma, artha dharma parityajya kamam anuvartate. Only a person like this. And for a person like this, what happens? What is happening to my father? But now I'm scared that Kaikeyi is not even going to be happy just having the Rajya. She might kill my dad. So you please go back. I worry for my mothers, I worry for my dad. Hence, Lakshman, you go back. Lakshman, of course, doesn't go back, yeah? Now, this incident is very interesting because a lot of commentators couldn't digest it. How can Sri Ram say this? Okay, I find it very fascinating that we say Sri Ram is Maryada Purushottam. Valmiki ji doesn't say it. Valmiki ji says, Ramo Vigrahavan Dharma. But we say, Ram is Maryada Purushottam, but we don't try to understand his Maryada. We impose our Maryada on him. What we think is the right thing to do. Okay. So, in this case, some of the commentators, and I am a very small person in front of all of them, but they put a note here. They say, Sri Ram didn't mean any of this. Okay. He only said it to encourage Lakshman to go. He was checking Lakshman, they say. Okay. Now that is their bhav towards Sri Ram. I am a very small person to comment on it. However, I differ. Because Sri Ram, Purush Saragnya Swadosha Paradoshavit. And we have seen the conduct of Dashrath towards Kaikeyi. We have seen the lamentation, the vishad of Kaushalya to Sri Ram, when she's saying that your father has treated me worse than the dasis of Kaikeyi. This is what Kaushalya Ma has said. And this is in Valmiki Ramayana. So even if we want to say, no, it's all fine and it's all ideal, it's not. Okay. The relationships in Valmiki Ramayana are as true and as real as anybody of our lives and our families. Nothing is different. That is why Ramayana is yavat sthasyanti girayah lokeshu pracharishyati. That is why. Because that is why it's so relevant. It is like anybody of our story, right? So anyways, so this is what he has said. Now remember this. And remember this incident. So what has Dashrath ji done? Dashrath ji had to choose. He had given a promise to his wife and to the praja. So one is praja, one is patni. He has chosen patni dharma over praja dharma. Right, wrong is always very tricky. Okay, so let's not get into judgments of it. But he's done this. And for this, I just told you the reaction of Sri Ram. In spite of accepting the situation, in spite of accepting the decision, which he believed was the right thing to do, we discussed why, he still sees what is going on. He's not blind to it. Okay. So now we come to this situation where, again, what is the situation? One is praja wanting a certain thing and knowing what the wife is. What are the options before him? Let's try to work through this. Okay? One is doing what he did. He said, okay, he says, fine, I'll take care of, my praja matters. I will let my wife go. That is one. He could have said, let the praja say whatever. I know now my wife is right. I will explain it to them. You think that would have worked? Because wo to bola tha pehle hi. When is it that they are finally convinced? When Love Kush are actually singing that whole story, no? Tab tak to that they are not convinced. तो बोल के convince हो जाते तो problem ही क्या था? The situation wouldn't have arisen at all. So that was not going to work. He could have said, who is saying, let me set an example, let me punish them. सब लोग चुप हो जाएंगे. He was the Raja. He could have done that. They are spreading kanads, they are spreading lies. What would we have said today? Hitler था. उस ज़माने का, right? He was a despot. He doesn't even let the praja have whatever view, and that still wouldn't have freed Sita of the kalank. Remember that. People might have shut up. He had one more option. The other option was, he could have said, you don't trust my wife? Fine, no problem. I'll go with my wife. I will choose my wife. I know she's right. Anyways, Bharat has taken care of you for so long, I'll go. So he could have chosen his wife over the praja. The Praja, which has waited for him for 14 years, the Praja which wanted him to become the Raja, the Praja which sobbed when he was leaving, right? He could have said, okay, I choose my wife. What would we have said at that time? Because we are the Praja. What would we have said? Thank you. Jaisa baap, vaisa beta. Isn't it? Think about it, right? In our heads, we have this some weird concept of Treta Yuga where everybody is nice. Baba, you had Ravana at that time who raped hundreds of women, right? So, अच्छे बुरे हर time पे होते हैं. You have to navigate through this. That is why the relevance of Ramayana, even today, or Mahabharata. Anyways, so now he did this. He let his wife go. He said, I will keep my kirti. I am letting my wife go. We have just assumed that Sri Ram couldn't marry again. And now there are stories added that he had promised to Sita Ma, I will never have another wife and all that. No, nothing like that in Valmiki Ramayana. Okay, Valmiki Ramayana, no such promises made. Valmiki Ramayana, there is no glorification of having just one wife. His father has multiple wives, right? And if he was setting a precedent, that clearly didn't work, because Mahabharata, how many wives do they have? Right? They all have multiple wives. Sorry, how many wives did Krishna have here? Not counting the 16,000, yeah? Official wives. 8 wives, right? And let's leave judgment out of it. That's how it was. Polygamy was a norm. Okay, there is nothing to judge there. Polygamy was a norm till 1950s, till Hindu code bill made it invalid or illegal. Okay, lots of our Rajas have had multiple wives, and it made strategic sense. It was a need of the day, probably, if you might say, okay. So there was absolutely no need for Sri Ram to not marry again. There was no commitment, one. Second, for doing the yagnas and all that he did, those were grahastha yagnas. He needed a wife. We are told he kept a sone ki murti and he did it. Why, yaar? Why did he not marry? And by doing that, what is he telling us? As I said, sometimes kartavya paranta is not one versus the others. Kartavya paranta is doing what you must, because that is your larger kartavya, while navigating everything else. Very difficult. That is why it is very difficult to be Sri Ram. That's why we said, Bhagwan hai jaane do, wo kar sakta hai, hum nahi. But what message did he give by not marrying again and still letting Sita ji go? So easy for us to say, unfair to his wife, not a good husband. Husband ho to desi sometimes Ravan jaisa. Funny. What is he saying? He's saying, you don't trust the queen. You are my praja. You matter to me. This is the first lesson I learned through Vishwamitra when I was only 16. Praja rakshan sarvopari, praja sarvopari. That is my Raj Dharma. I choose you over the Rani because you don't trust the Rani. But you know what? I trust my wife. And I love my wife. And I have not an iota of doubt on her. And hence, I have left the queen, but not my wife. She will always be my wife. No one can take her place. It is through that action, not words, through that action, we put Sita ji on the pedestal that we do by his action, not his words. He didn't need words to do it because they wouldn't have worked, right? They wouldn't have worked. And now, if you think of what he has done as a husband, as a son, as a Raja, and how he has navigated the Dharma and the Dharma Sankats, you will see why Ram is Ramo Vigrahvan Dharma. Thank you so much. Jai Shri Ram, Jai Shri Krishna.